I have enough scraps to do a cooking video later. Yeah! I'm back! Let's do some cooking. So, I've been feeling a bit glum lately, which is why I disappeared for a few days. And my dad called me yesterday and he said, why aren't you dancing and why aren't you cooking? So this morning I woke up and I danced and I felt better and now I'm going to cook. It is a really weird time at the moment and people are scared and the world doesn't know what to do or say, and that's an odd feeling. I'm currently away from my family and my siblings, and that's certainly unsettling. So as my dad said yesterday, we have to do things that keep us happy, keep us bubbly, and keep moving, basically. Wake up tomorrow and do a dance, have a little shimmy, just boogie. Get all of that weird, horrid anxiety out of your system. Also, during all of this, the most important thing is that we are not wasting our food and we're using all of the things that we bought last week. All of the sad, bruised, upset vegetables, we're going to put them in a pan and it's going to taste delicious. I'm talking about things like this tomato that I bought last week. She's a bit banged up, but she's beautiful. This pepper, she's definitely bruised, but she's going to taste great in a pan. And this aubergine that I used half of last week, we're just going to chop the brown off and put it in a pan. So things like this is totally fine. I chopped it in half because I have really tiny hands, but I'm just going to basically go along that edge and take off the main bits of brown, and then you won't notice when you eat it. It'll be delicious. So with all of these things, I'm going to chop them up and we're going to make a really, I suppose it's a bit of a ratatouille, but I just tend to put anything that I like that's in the fridge and I put it in a pan, and it tends to taste quite good. Another one of my really favourite tricks, which is something that my dad does a lot, and my mum, I love using dry sausages or dry salamis or chorizo. Obviously, if you're veggie or vegan, you don't have to put that in. Today, I'm going to be using, as I said, tomato, pepper, aubergine, some of these really pretty colourful carrots. I have a whole packet of mushrooms that need to be eaten pretty soonish. And I'm going to put them in the pan with garlic, onion. That's going to start. The most important thing about cooking with sausages is that you have to eat some. Otherwise, you're just not really cooking. So what I'm doing with this sausage is I'm just chopping them into little squares, I'd say. You'd still want them a little bit chunky so that they're nice and chewy when you eat into them. But yeah, great. I've only used a small amount of olive oil because that's, just checking, that's, all of those pieces are going to start oozing really tasty oil, so I didn't want to drench it in that. But that's going to get going and I'm going to come back to my veggies. And I'm kind of doing the same with these aubergine pieces. I'm just going to put them into small-ish kind of squares, depending on how big you like your veg, basically. I just realised I have a lovely quarter onion that I'll be using, so I'm just going to take her bottom off and take her top off. Cheeky. Don't think like that. So I always smile when I start to chop an onion because my dad for years would always be trying to teach me how to chop it properly, and I was so stubborn and probably just wanted to figure out myself that I would always tell him that I knew. Whilst I was just chopping my peppers and aubergine, this is what I want the sausage to be looking like. So, I just got spat on. So the pan's obviously a little hot now. I've just turned the heat off and all of those oils have just come out of the sausage, and that is going to help us. And then the only time I actually fully learnt was when I was, I think, watching Jamie Oliver, one of his shows when I was younger. That's what I was allowed to watch. My dad approved of David Attenborough and Jamie Oliver. Decided to put my aubergine in with my onions because they're going to take a bit longer to cook, and the peppers and the tomatoes really aren't. So This is what my pan looks like so far. I'll give it a stir. My words are gone. So I put my tomatoes in, and that's all cooking away really nicely. What I was going to say is there wasn't really much for you guys to be seeing. I've just turned that off before all the vegetables get a bit too mushy. What is happening? Why am I chopping up my mouth? I've washed my mushrooms. Wash all your vegetables. All the time, not just during Corona. I mean, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, I don't mind. But I don't like taking the entire stem out of the mushroom. It seems like such a waste. So I just chop close to the end, and that's how I do it. You don't have to do it like that. So in there we now have obviously the cooked vegetable from before. I just chopped the mushrooms, and the green stuff is I cooked with an elephant garlic yesterday, and they're huge and their stems are really tasty as well. So I just chopped that up. Next, sorry, I just had some more sausage. Next, as she opens the fridge door, I want you to find any pasta sauces that you opened a few days ago, or you have like a tomato paste that you haven't used, or it's just sitting in the fridge and you need to get rid of it. As it happens, I actually cooked the rest of mine yesterday in something else, so I'm gonna get a new one out. I'm using this one, which has roasted garlic. It's marinara, basically. Anything that's tomatoey or rich with flavour, or something that's just going to blend all of those vegetables together would be great. I don't want to use all of it, not at all. In fact, if I'd had one that was already open, that would have been better. But I'm just going to literally do maybe, let's say, half of it. Not even half. More like a third. If you didn't have this, kind of even better, because you're just going to rely on the tomatoes and the flavours of the vegetables and the sausage and the garlic and the onion. So it really doesn't matter if you don't have this. It's just if you have one, may as well use it. Weirdly, this always used to be my favourite job at Christmas time. When I was a kid, I'd always volunteer to peel potatoes and or turnips or carrots. I find it really therapeutic. I just plugged my phone in and now I can't reach the pan. But that's what it looks like from afar. Those carrots, I'm going to stir them in. I kind of wanted them quite big because the tomatoes have started to break down now, and I wanted some better. Good question, Ari, the mushrooms. I washed them because they have mud on them. That's why. And I didn't really want mud in my flavours. But yeah, you should always... I'd wash your vegetables. It's quite good to. You don't know where they've been. I realised I didn't put my carrots in, but I'm not upset about it. I could put them in. I'll put them in. Stop it. Oh, Buster's cooking away, really. I'm just showing you from afar because I'm still plugged in. Nummy. I did some like zhuzhy, and then I got all the sauce over the wall, so I stopped. I have a mate with me though. He always comes and hangs out at my feet when I'm cooking. Because there's always something that I've dropped, isn't there, Roski? What have we found? Yeah, lots of you saying that it could be a pasta sauce. It totally could be a pasta sauce. You'd probably just need to chop up your vegetables a little bit smaller so that they're not so chunky. But totally, that is an amazing pasta sauce. Bit of parmesan, bit of pasta, yum. I've just started crumbling the feta on the top. It's just normal feta, and you just crumble it, basically. It's pretty simple. And I'm very excited to eat it. That's tasty. Yeah! Woo! All of those colours look amazing. I'm just going to put some oregano and some Italian herbs in there. And maybe some... No, that's good. That is all of our banged up veg that we didn't know what to do with, and we just put it in a pan with garlic, onions, lots of flavours, loads of tomatoes, and now you can eat it. Just one quick thing before you go. If you've already got food ready for later and you just needed to cook that before it went bad, you can put those in a container and pop it in the freezer, and that will keep totally fine. And then just take it out, thaw it, microwave it. It's good to go.